Hey everybody, how we doing today? So I've had some people express some pretty different opinions on check lines, and I'm just going to go a brief overview of two different kinds. So this is pulling checks right here. Normally a check line is going to go, from the horse's bit, however you got it hooked up, through this ring between the hanes, and with this pulling check, that's what I refer to this as pulling checks. Jeff Fergie turned me on to these years ago. I'm very grateful. I believe the reason why these are not more popular is because they do not work well with horses that snatch or jump the load. I don't let mine snatch, and I try not to let them jump the load ever. I try to make them sit solid and walk off with. Jumping the load is what I'm referring to as that running action, when they put their back feet together and pull off whatever. The reason why it wouldn't work good for that is when their feet stretch out, it actually tightens up their head a little bit. It actually slides backwards and will pick their head up. So one of the reasons why I like, you gotta fly. Hey, can we not be so sensitive? One reason why I like pulling checks is because I get to run them a little bit looser. Buddy. I get to run a little bit looser, and not so loose they will get into trouble, like get their heads locked, get their bit latched in here. Had it happen to me one time. Never again. I run checks every single time after that. So I get to run the heads a little bit more loose, but when they go to pull, like he's such a natural puller. The people that say a workhorse does not need a check, blah blah blah. Well, you're right with a horse like him. He naturally picks his head when he pulls. The way his muscle and his shoulders and collars and rear feet relate, he naturally picks his head up. He pulls beautifully. The reason why some people say you have to check him is because the horse is like his brother. He has to have a check. If not, he would be plowing the ground constantly with his nose. He's gotten better for him now, and he's doing it naturally now after years of working at it. But when you're doing that, when you're dropping the head, you're cutting your power down, but also they're breaking form, good posture, and you're adding wear to your horse per same amount of weight moved, per same amount of work done. You're adding wear to your horse. What I think in my mind is I want my horse's spine, so that would be about the line of draft right there, roughly. I want my horse's spine and head to do that. Their butts to drop, their head to come up just enough, and kind of match that angle a little bit, the line of draft some. So he does that wonderfully. I know he's getting after you. But this would not work good for a horse that jumped low or snatched. This would not be ideal. This is more, you see like more old guys that after work their stock, more of them tend towards these sometimes. So, it wouldn't work well with D-ring harness either. It wouldn't work well with that either. It's way too taut. As far as I always check my horses. I don't like them over checked. Like I do not like seeing their heads go too far out of alignment and their heads be way up and their spine will be at a different angle. I don't like over checking a horse at all. But for me, it's a safety thing. It keeps them from being in a habit of eating stuff and doing goofy things like that. There's nothing wrong with either way of doing it. Different driving styles. You change one thing, you're going to change a lot. So different driving styles. All right, Spud. Different driving styles affect your gear. Also in the mountains, one reason why I kind of like these, because you get to run it a little looser and still check a little bit more when they actually pull. And this angle here, I could adjust this to work a little bit better. With him, it doesn't matter because he pulls so good. But like if you're in the mountains and you're going to steep slope or really steep terrain, your horses need to have more leeway. They need to be able to put the head down and see what's going on. Because when they pull and they come up, they say to put their head on see what's, you know, when they go off the hillside, mountainside, or whatever. So, you know, the terrain you're in, what's your driving style, what your horse's natural aptitude, all those things are going to affect how you use the check line. You know, a lot of people use those, a lot of pullers use the ones that go across the front of their face and actually kind of pulls up on the front of their face a little bit. And, you know, I don't think there's a right or wrong to most of it. I think you need to listen to what the horse is telling you, and, you know, the way I could have gotten by never using check line helm probably, and had basically a very similar, almost same result. I know I'm boring you. I know, Captain Patient. Step up. Ooh. But Gus over there, Gus has to have a check line. Even now, he has good habits going. I could probably take his check line on for like a week, but after a week, he'd probably start reverting back to his old habits of wanting to plow the ground. So, and we don't want to do that. You're not cooperating, dude. So anyway, guys, that's just my little 2 cents. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but listen to your animal. Your animal will tell you, you know, if you need to improve something or change something or do something a little different. That's something I think people forget, is they see one person doing one thing one way and they want to just copy that exact thing. You kind of listen to your animal. Each animal is an individual, and how you drive and what you're doing with that animal and what your terrain is, and all those things are factors that have to be brought into it. So take care, guys. Have a good one.